My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today it is December 22nd, 2025. It's beautiful to share with you Torah every single morning, as we've done for almost 6 years. Ellen, it's good to see you. Tracy Ann and Bensi, Kate, Jonathan, and Lydia. Boker Tov, my friends. Penny, thank you for the reminder. It is broadcast 1452. Good to see all of you. Let's see who else is here so we can, as we have each morning, greet each other by name. Say good morning, John and Arlene. So good to see you. Linda and Anya. Neil, my friend. Good to see you too. Let's take a moment, say Boker Tov, good morning to everybody, and then we'll get started with some learning. Ashley and Dave, Adele and Michelle, Boker Tov, friends. Good to see all of you. Okay, let's take a breath. Sing a bracha. Karen and Cecile. Jacqueline, it's good to see you too. Okay. Jack, Boker Tov. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Barry. Merav, Boker Tov. Hi, Rose. Hi, Amy. Hi, Arlene. Maya, welcome. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ay ya la la la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו לעשות בדברי תורה, לעשות בדברי תורה, הפוך בה והפוך בה, לעשות בדברי תורה. לה 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 לה, לה 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 לה, לה 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 לה, ay la la la. Everyone, it's good to see all of you. Thank you, Amy, for sharing. Today is your wonderful son-in-law's birthday. What a lovely thing to see. And Minna, thank you. Friends, I shared a drash, a sermon that my father gave Shabbat morning in Richmond, Virginia, where he had served as rabbi. He spoke passionately about the events in Bondi Beach just a week and a day ago. And I wanted to take the opportunity, friends, to thank all of you for the kind of love and support that you've shown me and my family. Thank God my brother-in-law, Arsen, is on the mend, is healing, has revisited the site where he was shot a number of times. He is more than what happened to him. And his leadership is now going to be accelerated because of the attention that has come his way. He, just as we, must make sure to take everything that we experience. We are called to take all of that, channel it, and do something good in the world. And so, friends, thank you for supporting me and for supporting me in supporting him. We've got work to do, and he is my reminder in ways that he always was and is now, thank God, still even more so. A reminder of the purpose that we are called to fulfill through our work in the world. We're learning a new parsha today, the last day of Channukah. That last day is known, as Judy wrote before, as Zot Channukah, the last day. Very, very powerful to mark the 8th day of Channukah, which is 7 plus 1, creation plus 1. There's a kind of infinite power to this day. So let's channel that power and learn some good Torah so we can do even better this time around. Parshat Vayigash. We're toward the end of Breshit, the end of Genesis. It is an extraordinary Torah portion, which begins with the word Vayigash. Now, if you look at many translations, you'll see something like, then Judah went up to him and said, Vayigash elav Yudah vayomer. And who's the him? Joseph. A little bit of background before I explain why I think that translation falls quite short. Joseph has been and remains in disguise. He's grown up, and his brothers don't recognize him. They've come to Egypt because there's a famine throughout the region, and Egypt alone has managed to create a storehouse of wheat and food with which people can be fed during 7 years of famine. Now, we know the backstory. The reason that Egypt survived and was able to do that kind of sustaining work for the surrounding region is because those brothers sold Joseph into slavery, where he ended up in Egypt. He started interpreting dreams for those in prison where he was thrown. He's then brought out of prison because he can interpret dreams, and Pharaoh has been sent dreams that told what was going to happen. And so all of this is a very, very complicated plot that leads to this moment with which our Parsha begins. So again, the Hebrew starts, Vayigash elav Yehuda. And even the word Vayigash has a sound to it. Listen to the sound. Vayigash. Maybe I'm listening for it too much. But Vayigash doesn't mean Judah went up to him. That would have been Ve'alah. Vayigash is from the word lageshet, to come close, to come near. A better translation of this verse is, and Judah came close to Joseph. And you might imagine Judah's trembling because he's before the vice pharaoh who holds their lives in his hand. He doesn't know that he's standing before Joseph. That probably would make him tremble even more. And now be Joseph. Joseph, who has gone through all of that trauma in childhood and is now vested with a kind of power with which, God forbid, he could seek retribution, but what he's done instead is put his brothers to the test by holding the new youngest brother, Benjamin, as a potential captive. He puts the brothers in a position where they're going to reveal, have they grown at all? Have they learned? Have they done tshuva, repentance? This is a trembling moment. And so Judah coming close is an act of extreme bravery, vulnerability. And for Joseph to maintain the veneer of power, to not reveal himself, which he will soon in the Parsha, this is an extraordinarily charged encounter. Listen to, I'm glad to share again from my new book on Breshit, on Genesis, to read a little bit from it, just because this verse has always grabbed me. I begin with a quote from Martin Buber, an early Zionist philosopher, who wrote, "I do not accept any absolute formulas for living. No preconceived code can see ahead to everything that can happen in a man's life. As we live, we grow, and our beliefs change. They must change. So I think we should live with this constant discovery. We should be open to this adventure in heightened awareness of living. We should stake our whole existence on our willingness to explore and experience." Now that, of course, is coming from a place of intensity. It doesn't sound like it's speaking about the encounter that Judah is having with Joseph, but remember, we have the luxury of reading this afterwards. What must it have felt like for Judah? Does he know what's going to happen? What does Vayigash give him the opportunity to do? He comes close to the ruler who's holding his brother hostage. This is a dangerous moment, and they're hungry. Now for Joseph, what is it too? He doesn't know what this moment is. I ask, what might Judah have been thinking? Their father, Jacob's youngest son, was about to be lost again. And Judah's leadership was facing the ultimate test again. This time from a position of vulnerability in unfamiliar territory. What must Joseph have been feeling with the pent-up pain and anger of decades and the sudden position of power over his former abusers? What must Benjamin, who's not active here, he's the new youngest brother, what must Benjamin have been feeling, thrust into a horrible position he did not himself create? What do we, the readers, experience as we enter the writhing text and its intense emotionality? John says it very, very simply just now. John just wrote, we must lean in. How beautiful. John, great language for that. There's an ancient midrash about this moment. It's in Breshit Rabbah. I'll read the Hebrew just 'cause it's so beautiful, and then I'll read the English. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Hagasha le'milchama. Rabbi Nehemiah Omer, Hagasha lefius. Rabbi Judah interpreted it as an approach of war. That's what it was. Judah was ready to strike. Rabbi Nehemiah interpreted it as an approach of appeasement, trying to find a way forward, to talk. Rabbanan Amrei Hagasha, the rabbis interpreted as an approach of tefillah, prayer. Rabbi Elazar resolved the dispute, saying, Im lemilchama aniva, Im lefius aniva, Im litfilah aniva. If for war, here I come. If for appeasement, here I come. If for prayer, here I come. It was unknown. This encounter has not yet been written when it's happening. We know the story. And so we get to talk about it as if we know the result. They don't know the result. None of these stories that we are in as human beings, when it comes to family, when it comes to friends, when it comes to the future, no one knows. Which is why being open to an embrace, opening our hearts to the possibility of what's next, preparing for it not to go well. Im lemilchama aniva. If I have to fight, all right, that's what I have to do. Im lefius, if it's to make it better, to maybe give a second chance, to find a peaceful way forward. Because what's the use of holding on to all of this past pain? If this is an attempt to reconcile, to do tshuva, that's also good. Im litfilah, if it's prayer, purely aspirational attitude toward the future, that's also fine. I found myself in this last week, and I don't want to make this about myself, but we bring ourselves to our interpretations of Torah. That's what makes it honest. In this last week, since the extreme vulnerability in my family, which of course is part of a bigger moment, an attack on the Jewish community in Sydney, but as one family wrapped up in this, to witness my brother's just grandeur, his determination to speak truth to this moment, and to watch him surrounded after a terrible attack, watch him surrounded by people of elected office and bystanders who were not bystanders, they were upstanders, and paramedics. You don't know what each encounter is. We don't know what the future holds. And speaking as a Jew, we have to be ready to fight, but we shouldn't decide in advance that that's the only way things can go. There might be a chance for fius, for a conversation. We shouldn't have to defend our dignity, our right to be, but a conversation whenever there's a lack of education or confusion. We should hope that that could be too. And if it's tefillah, if we are praying for it, as Jews have prayed for the Messiah for thousands of years, which is as irrational as anything, we have to prepare to fight, but we shouldn't expect only that. Judah comes forward and he puts himself in proximity to power. Who knows what will happen? Maybe it'll be okay. Maybe it'll be okay. Who knows? It is certainly an adventure. It comes with vulnerability and risk. What a gift it is to be alive and to be mindful about every encounter before it happens, and maybe even in it, to be thoughtful, to be open, to be ready, to be all of these things. On this last day of Chanukah, when the Chanukiot have already burned down, we don't see any more of that flame, not physically. But 8, this last day of Chanukah, Zot Chanukah, it's creation plus 1. It's the world as it is plus. Maybe this is a glimpse of something beyond the world as it has been created, into the way it could be created, one encounter at a time. May we be blessed, friends, with good encounters. May we never be so naive as to only think that will happen. But maybe once in a while it will. Maybe being vigilant and vulnerable leaves us able, empowers us to have encounters that we haven't yet had. I'll end with Rabbi Cantorisa's beautiful blessing. May we see the light in each other. Let's take a breath, send our hearts to the east, and sing. Kol hod balevav pnima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefatei mizrach kadima ayin letzion tzofia od lo avda tikvateinu התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון Virushalayim. Am Yisrael Chai. See you tomorrow, my friends. Happy Chanukah.